Welcome to the Emmaus Podcast, when you can find out what's happening in our school community.
Hi, and welcome to the Emmaus Podcast. I'm Miller.
And I'm Ivy.
And
we will be your hosts for today. First up today, we'll have our fun fact and joke of the week.
And then we are going to interview Georgia with the reconciliation team.
Next, we'll have a sports report telling you about all our sports news. Let's get straight into it.
Did you know?
Ivy, I know you have a great fun fact for us. What is it?
Well, did you know that cows actually have best friends?
So you're telling me they actually have a best friend?
Yes, cows are social animals, and usually it might be like a bird or another cow.
Wow.
All right, Miller, it's your turn now. What's the joke of the day?
Where do you take your dog when your dog's sick?
I have no idea.
To a dog tower. That's all from us, and now we're going to go to Georgia with the Reconciliation Action Plan team.
All right, welcome everyone to our conversation about our Reconciliation Action Group. Here today we have
Taylor,
Isla, Louise, and Jesus,
who are all members of our Reconciliation Action Plan student team. We meet weekly here at Emmaus, on most cases, if something doesn't pop up. And our students are really the voice of this group, and they lead a lot of the work in this space of ensuring that our school is a really welcoming place for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, but more than that, that we acknowledge and celebrate the rich traditions and the cultures, and also acknowledge the history and ensure that we're really informed. Because as I always say to the students, back when I was in school, which we know was a little time ago, we didn't have education like this, and we didn't have opportunities to talk about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, their history and their culture. And we know that knowledge is power, and so the more we know, the more positive changes that we can make, not only in our school community, but the contributions to the community outside of Emmaus. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the work that we've done in our Reconciliation Action Plan group. And I think I'll start with just talking about the Reconciliation Action Plan team in general. Is there someone that would be happy just to talk a little bit about what our meetings are like? Yeah, Isla, can you talk a little bit about what our meetings like, where we gather, what we do, what are the things we talk about?
So normally on a Tuesday in the second evening time, we all meet in the staff room. We talk about any Indigenous celebrations that might be coming up, like NAIDOC Week's coming up, so currently we're talking about that, or any fun activities or stuff that the RAP program is going to be doing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. How long have you been a part of our team for, Isla?
Since it started.
Yeah,
I don't know when that was.
Quite a while ago,
Yeah.
actually. And before I actually went on maternity leave, so that was a couple of years ago, we had actually started a Reconciliation Action Plan team. So some of you have actually been a part of this work since you're in the junior school. And then we had a little break and we picked it up again, which is really exciting. We've got some really good momentum. Most recently, in the lead up to Reconciliation Week, we had a really special invitation from the staff and students at Damascus. We were able to attend their National Sorry Day celebrations. I'm wondering, Hazel and Louise, could you talk a little bit about our experience at Damascus? What happened over there, how you felt, and your reflections afterwards?
It was really fun. Well, not fun, but it was like really interesting to see what had happened and to hear someone who's like actually been like a part of that like stolen generation, to like hear what it was like to be a part of that, and how she lived and how she was like feeling during when she was like so young. She was like 3 to 5 years old when she got stolen, and she had to get put back into her other family, and it was really sad.
And you're talking about Brenda.
Brenda.
Brenda Matthews when you're speaking.
Yeah,
So-
she was very good.
She was phenomenal, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was a very good speaker, and you could hear her. Sometimes she felt like I could hear her like getting teary, like I could hear it in her voice, her getting sad, and it made me really sad. And like also the fact that she's still alive, and like that this happened when she was younger, and that she's not even that old. She's like 50, and that happened, and like she's still alive when that happened.
And she's telling her story, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's helping us all to understand. You know, I think you can read information and sometimes it's really hard to connect to, but when you hear an individual person share their story so openly and so vulnerably, to be so impacted by her emotion and her storytelling, to put yourself in her shoes, that was a really, really special event that we were able to attend. Lou, would you like to talk further?
Yeah, I find that it would have been very hard for her to share that had happened to her and how she would have relived it every time she talked about it. But also spreading awareness for everyone who maybe didn't know about what really happened to those kids, or all those kids, what ended up happening to them, because all her siblings ended up going back home and then she was years later.
And that's one story
Yeah, just one.
of tens of thousands of children who were removed from their families. One story. Imagine if we heard all of them. I don't think
Too many.
Yeah, there wouldn't be enough tissues with it.
And like she was talking about like how the only person that she really felt connected to was her sister, and then she was looking for her family years later after she like her not her actual biological family but her like her white family, and she when she was looking for them, she found out like that the only person that she really remembered and actually felt like she was her family died. And that was just really sad, and that made me kind of tear up.
Absolutely, that was devastating to hear that. That she
Absolutely.
thought so long about reconnecting, and
and
she
she
spoke
tried.
about the messages, like the memories that she had from those young days
and
with
how,
her sister.
Like, it was only her sister, and how like she didn't even realize that she was different to her like white sister. She didn't even realize that she was like a different race until like she was like 5. Yeah, and then it was quite sad, and then she just not very good luck, I guess.
No, and you would have wished for a different ending for her for sure, given everything that she'd been through.
And also wish a different beginning, because like
Absolutely.
it's quite sad.
The stories that are told, and they are the stories that shape Australia's history, aren't they? Really, and that is something that we really need to acknowledge and ensure that never happens again.
Yeah, I remember one of the things she mentioned. So she got taken from a black family to a white family, and then she reconnected with her black family. But she didn't feel she connected or fit back in with either family when she saw them again.
Yeah, that was
And she
another
felt like an
heartbreak.
intruder in her own home.
I can't imagine those feelings when you're amongst people who are your family. Must have been so tricky for her to navigate. We are talking about Brenda Matthews. She has written a book, The Lost Daughter, which tells the story of her journey as a young Aboriginal child being removed during the stolen generation from her family. And she very openly said to us when she spoke, didn't she, that I used the terms white family and black family to help distinguish the two and tell the story of her childhood. I might jump over now to Taylin, because Tay, as a part of our National Reconciliation Week celebration, we formed a choir and we rehearsed for such a long time. Can you tell us a little bit about our choir?
So the Solid Choir is about the stolen generation and the black people
how they got their land, and white people came to their island, starting fighting and saying, "We own this land now. We found it. So get off." And it's just hard to talk about, because in the song it explains it differently and you think differently. Because the white people came and they just started taking their land and saying, "You're a different colour, that you have to leave. We're the boss of you guys now."
Yeah, they did. They did. They came and took that land. We're talking about Solid Rock, the song by the artist Goanna. He felt really moved to write about land rights after his visit to Uluru. Can you tell us a little bit about the experience of, we formed a choir, we rehearsed together. How did it feel to perform when we gathered together during National Reconciliation Week?
It felt like we were actually speaking of the story, like we were actually there. Like we were there and we were just saying what happened and how it feels to be a different colour. Because like, just because we're different doesn't mean we can't do the same things.
Absolutely, Tay. Beautiful insights. And I know there were over 70 children who joined our Solid Rock Choir, which was absolutely phenomenal. And we raised our voices as a part of National Reconciliation Week together. There was this beautiful graphic that we had, the artwork in the back of the music to accompany the lyrics. Can you tell us a little bit about the artwork that existed behind the song and the music, and tell us how you interpreted that artwork?
So I thought the artwork was like the symbols of how they felt when the white came and started attacking them. And it was just like very intense. Like it kept going like fast and fast. Like it was just coming straight back to them. And sometimes there was people standing doing their dance. And I thought that kind of meant that there were the black people saying, "Get off our land." It was just so intense. And
I really like how you were able to look quite closely at the graphics and the artworks that sat behind the music, Tay, and interpret that as also telling a story. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you. Isla, I might skip over to you now just to talk a little bit about our current work in our Reconciliation Action Plan group. Would you like to talk a little bit about our badges and what we're hoping to achieve?
So we're currently designing badges that represent the Reconciliation Action Plan group. So everyone who is a part of it will have one, and they can wear it on their school uniform when they come to school. And so each kid, if they would like to, is designing one either on a piece of paper or on their devices. And you can use Indigenous symbols or stuff that speak, like symbols that kind of represent us, through Indigenous symbols. And hopefully we'll have a voting process sometime soon and we'll get all the badges made.
Yeah, so today will be our voting day. So we've had, I think, about 20 submissions so far of badge designs. Pardon me. And some of the criteria around it was ensuring that Emmaus as a school was reflected in the badge, but also our commitment to reconciliation, our commitment to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. And making sure that we were able to tie the two and bring the two together so that the design was something really, I guess, individual to our school, and tells a little bit about our story and the journey that we're on together. So I think we've got NAIDOC Week, which takes place and is acknowledged and celebrated over the holiday period. But we know first week back here at Emmaus we're going to really celebrate and acknowledge NAIDOC Week, and my hope would be that those badges would be presented to you during NAIDOC Week as an acknowledgement of your commitment, because we know that the time that you give up to be a part of this work is your time. You don't have to do that, but you're choosing to do that because you wish, I believe, that you wish to know more and you wish to make some really positive changes in not only our school community but the wider community. I think that's a really lovely wrap on the work, excuse the pun, on the work that we've been doing. And I really appreciate all of your contributions today. Ladies, thank you so much, and we look forward to working together into the future. Thank you.
On the Kilometre Club days, you have a chance to earn a lollipop each week. Vaughan and Canamo, you need to do 20 laps.
And Mockbarine and Arica have to do 30.
To get a lollipop.
Kilometre Club runs Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday from 8:35 to 8:55 a.m.
So make sure you run heaps of laps to get your lollipop. Miller, have you done any laps?
Yeah, a few. What about you?
I've done around 17 to 20.
That's pretty good.
And also, have you heard that our girls' soccer team went to the Catholic Schools Championships and got all the way to the grand final and won? Did you know they also got a trophy, which is displayed in our front foyer? Make sure to check it out.
And they also came runner-up in the Greater Western Regional Championships by a heartbreaking shootout.
Well done to the girls for winning their first grand final and almost making it through to the next round. After all the fundraising in the last couple of weeks, our new playground is finally open. The playground has a lot of awesome equipment, so make sure to check it out at your break time. Thanks for listening to What's Up Emmaus. Make sure you tune in for all of our podcasts.
Make sure to like and subscribe to all of our social media platforms. Bye.